So the stage is set. The Houston Rockets, my Houston Rockets, will be facing off against the Golden State Warriors in the first round of the playoffs. Last night, few play-in games. Of course, the Warriors, Grizzlies being one of them. Hawks, Magic. Man, that first game, the Hawks Magic game, was kind of a snoozer. I tried to push and stay up for that Grizz Warriors game. I'm here on the East Coast, man, and I caught a little bit of the first quarter, fell asleep. I woke up around midnight and the game was still going on. But the Warriors ended up pulling through, getting the dub against the Grizz, and they will be facing off against my Rockets. Now, we know the history. So many run-ins during the Harden era. Um, if you ask me, I know it's a if if but if CP3 doesn't get hurt in that Western Conference Finals, I think my Rockets won it all that year, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's a lot of history between these two teams. And man, the West is so loaded. The West is so loaded. Man, you got the Warriors as the seventh seed. I got to tip my cap to Ime Udoka. Last year, team finishes 500. This year, second in the West. I don't know who's going to win Coach of the Year, but he's got to be in that conversation. Now, when it comes to the Warriors, I did see earlier this morning that I got a notey that they are the favorites in this series, and it's not really a shocker. They won the season series matchup. They got a lot of, they got championship pedigree, of course. Steph, Dre, Jimmy has taken the Heat to two finals as the leader. A couple of their role players in the rotation have been there for a while. They're champions as well. And they're facing a Rockets team who is relatively young. Of course, you have Fred Van Vliet. It's a mix of vets. Fred Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks, Steven Adams. Of course, you got Jeff Green. But for the most part, the nucleus, the Jalen Greens, the Amen Thompsons, the Bari, Tari, Alpi, they have no playoff experience. So it makes sense why the Warriors are the favorites. I didn't take it as disrespect, but maybe the Rockets can use that as some motivation. I'm sure they will. Now, keys to success for my Rockets to win this series. Was it 2 weeks ago? The last matchup we had against the Warriors, where we shut down Steph Curry. We made it extremely difficult. Okay, Steph finished with 3 points. I think Jimmy had 13. The Warriors' leading scores were Buddy Hield, Pods, and GP2. Now, if that's going to be the case, let the role players beat you. So that was the game plan a couple weeks ago. I'm sure that's the game plan going into this series. But let me get this straight. I don't. This is playoff mode. You're not going to see Steph Curry being held 3 points. I don't think. I just don't see that happening. And then Jimmy Butler, he's not gonna. You saw what he did last night. Went for what, 40? Yeah, what, about 38, 40? He went off, man. He shows up when the lights are bright. So it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Rockets. The thing about this Rockets team, of course, they are young. But what I like the most is that there's not a sole star that the team really relies on. Of course, Alpi, all-star, but JG, Amen Thompson, they on any given night, they can be the best player on the court or on the team. So it's going to take a group effort, plain and simple. Steven Adams, he's going to be big. We'll probably see that double big lineup because of the success that it had and that last matchup that we had against the Warriors. So Steven Adams, he's going to be big on the glass, big on the offensive glass as well. Dylan Brooks, if we can get these spark games from, Dylan Brooks he's been incredible all year. it hasn't been talked about much in the media, but Dylan Brooks has played great all season. If we can get some spark games from him, 20 points, him hitting 2 to 3 threes a game. Bari off the bench, he's going to be big. And Tari as well. If Bari and Tari can provide that, you know, have it be a seamless transition when those starters get to the bench, that's going to be big. But one thing I will say, if Fred Van Vliet, Freddie, we need you. You are a champion. You know what it takes. We're gonna need, if you're gonna take 5 threes, we need at least two to go down, baby. We need at least two. Um, I think so. I think Fred Van Vliet is going to be the X factor for this series. If he can knock down his triples, this team is going to be rolling, man. And of course, like I keep referring to that last game because that was really the blueprint that I think that the Rockets will follow through this series. JG, he got it going in that second half. Thing what 17 points in the second half. Whenever he matched up, whenever Steph was matched up on him, he took advantage of that matchup. He did his thing. So Jalen Green, he's got to show up. It's going, like I said, it's going to take a group effort. This team isn't star reliant. Okay, we don't have a Steph Curry. Okay, where pretty much everything centers around him. Okay, Alpi, he's got to put that hard hat on. Alpi, you got to put that hard hat on, down there in the paint, which I think he will. Um, Amin, I can't say enough about Amin. That's he I've been vouching for Amin on this channel. You can go back and look. I made about 2, 3, 4 videos on Amin Thompson, involving Amin Thompson. This dude is gonna be spectacular for years to come. He's gotta we got to get him out in transition. He's got to, he's going to make those defensive plays. He's going to get those steals, those blocks. He's going to bring that energy, and got to get him downhill, man. Um, if he can knock down a corner three, that's a plus. That's a plus. But more relying on a man to, really use his athleticism like he's been doing all year, and that dunker spot on offense. Get out in transition, make plays on the defensive end as well. And I think the Rockets have a good shot. Now, I it wouldn't shock me if this series goes to 7. It would not shock me if this series goes to 7 games. It's going to be physical. We're going to see some texts. We may see some scuffles. It's only natural. You got Dylan Brooks and Draymond Green in the same series. It's some pushing and some shoving is going to happen. Trust me. And don't forget Amin. Amin is he doesn't back down either. He's scrappy as well. So we're going to see a lot of physical play. It should be very entertaining. Now, I'm a realist when it comes to, I'm not one of those fans. Of course, I want my team to win the championship. That no doubt. But just looking at the nucleus of this team, they're extremely young, first time in the playoffs. I view this year as getting their feet wet. And I think Ime has them ahead of schedule. Like, I don't think anybody coming into this season thought that the Rockets would be the 2 seed in the West. I didn't think so. So I'm just keeping it a buck. Like I said, this team is young. I think this year they get a taste of the playoffs. Those core guys, Alpi, Min, and JG, they get a taste of what playoff ball is about, postseason ball. And they're going up against guys with that championship pedigree. And I think it's going to be a tough series. But if they can, I did not mention, we're going to see a lot of zone. Teams have been doing that all year. Going to be seeing a lot of zone. So we gotta beat that. Shooters got to be ready for the kick out. And of course, Steven Adams, when they're in that zone, he can really get on that glass and get those putbacks, give us those extra opportunities. So there's a good chance. We have a good chance. But my fellow Rockets fans or anybody in the comments, let me know How do you think this series will go? Who do you think are the X factors either for the Rockets or for the Warriors? And how many games? And who do you think comes out on top? In the comments, let me know.